Okay, pre-algebra, here are several examples on how to add and subtract mixed numbers. And if I don't do an example that you have on your paper, just let me know. I'll do another video. It won't take me long at all. This first one, we have a negative plus a positive. So because our signs are different, we starting with plus. We're not going to be adding because this one's a negative and this one's a negative and this one's a positive. So we will be subtracting. So the first thing we look at is what's our bigger number. We can do that by comparing the whole numbers in front, and so obviously 12 and 2/5 is our larger number. So I'm going to put that on top. We are subtracting, so I'm going to say minus 3 and 1/3. Now I see that since I put the 12 and 2/5 on the top, that my answer will be positive. I'm just going to go ahead and write that down so I don't forget it. We find a common denominator, which 5 and 3 is 15. 5 times 3 is 15, so 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15, and 1 times 5 is 5. So subtracting there, 6 minus 5, you don't have to borrow, we get 1 over 15, and 12 minus 3 is 9. And since it's positive, that's our answer. Let's look at the next example. And this time I have a negative and a positive again. I've got plus in the middle, so I'm still going to be subtracting. And this time, 4 is bigger than 2 and 1/3, so I'm going to put the 4 on top, and I'm going to say minus 2 and 1/3. Now my 4 was my negative 1, so I know my answer will be negative. Now I can't take 1/3 away from nothing here, so I have to borrow. So I'm going to borrow from my 4, make it a 3, and then I have to write a new fraction up here, and I always want to use the same denominator. So I'm going to put a 3 here, and then a 3 on top, so this fraction here equals the one that I borrowed from the 4 right here. Okay, so then I go 3 minus 1 is 2, so I'd have 2/3. And then 3 minus 2 is 1, and we remember that it's negative because we already determined that. And so the answer is negative 1 and 2/3. Looking at our next one here, I still have a plus sign in the middle, and so now I look at my signs, and they are both negative. Since the signs are the same, I'm going to add, keep the same sign. So I'm going to write 2 and 3/8 plus 1 and 1/4. I'm adding and I'm keeping the same sign. They're both negative, so my answer will be negative. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. I don't have to think about it again. Common denominator here is 8. So since my top didn't change here, this one doesn't change. My bottom here, 4 times 2 is 8, so 1 times 2 is 2. Adding those together, I get 5/8. 2 plus 1 is 3, and then it's negative. So that's my answer there. On this next one, I see that I have a subtraction sign, so I want to change it to plus, and then I change the sign of the next number, and since it's negative, it changes to plus. Now I see that I have a positive and another positive. Signs are the same. I'm going to add and keep the same sign. So this one's a pretty basic one. So I would find a common denominator, and with 2 and 3, that's 6. So this would change to a 3, and this one would change to a 2. And 3 plus 2 is 5, so I'd have 5/6, and 12 plus 1 is 13. Looking at my next example, I see that I have 5 and 1/4 minus 9 and 1/8. Again, I have subtraction, so I want to change my subtraction to addition, and my 9 and 1/8 doesn't have a sign, so it's understood to be positive, so now I want to change it to a negative. So now I have this is a positive number, and this one is now a negative, so I will be subtracting. So I'm going to put the 9 and 1/8 on top because it is the bigger number. And then I'm going to be subtracting 5 and 1/4 from that. And since 9 and 1/8 was my negative number, my answer will be negative. Find a common denominator, and that would be 8. 4 times 2 is 8, so 1 times 2 is 2. That doesn't change, so that doesn't change. And now I have a problem because I can't say 1 minus 2, so I need to borrow from my whole number. Makes that 9 and 8, and then my new top, remember we add the denominator to the numerator, and that will equal our new numerator, so we now have a 9. So we'll subtract and say 9 minus 2 is 7, put that over 8, and then 8 minus 5 is 3, and then it was negative because we said that at the beginning, so our answer is negative 3 and 7/8. That's our last example. So again, if you have a question or if there's a problem on your paper with an example I didn't do, please let me know. I will be more than happy to do another example or explain it to you in email, whatever will work. I want you guys to get this stuff and to understand it. You guys were doing a lot better today. So let's keep it up and do some good work, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.